to CC Top Solutions. This episode is an appendix to episode 1, our 1969 Lincoln Continental revival. In this appendix, I address our brake issue by applying a technique I first saw on Vaccuum Garage to bleed brakes if you're alone, if you don't have a helper. The technique worked better than any brake bleeding job I've ever done in the past. I couldn't believe how nice it worked, and it was very simple. Stay tuned, you'll see exactly how this went down. I hope you enjoy the show as much as I enjoyed making it. We're doing the brakes on our 69 Continental. I was able to get them kind of working, but they weren't quite right. So I pulled the wheel off, and I have these wheel spacers on here so that I could fit these crazy wheels and tires I bought. We're looking at bleeding our brakes. So here's our dual piston caliper setup in this Lincoln. And it looks pretty nasty. Pads, we still have a lot of life left on them though. So this is our passenger side. We've got our caliper exposed, and you can actually see that there is definitely an issue internal with this caliper. When you look at our wear pattern, right there, I think you guys can see that. Look at how our pad, see how this pad is much further worn down than this one. So that looks like an issue. There's also cracking of the pad, it looks like, and some disintegration, that looks like an issue. And look at how small it is here and how big it is here. So it looks like this piston's not freely moving. So I kind of lubed everything up, and I'm not hoping for a whole lot out of this. I just want to try and get these working. So our first step to doing that is we're going to try and bleed these. So here's our Schrader valve. We have that nice and exposed. The problem is, I think it's probably rusted in there pretty hard. So the way I like to handle these types of situations, which it's kind of a 50-50 functional solution here, I like to get a nice 6-point socket, nice high quality socket so it fits on there kind of tight. I don't want to strip it. I want to get that on there, and I want to go ahead and put my ratchet on there and just gently tap away at it with a hammer now. Some of you might say, hey, couldn't this be done faster if you use like an electric impact gun or maybe even air? Yeah, it probably could. Luckily, it's not a race. So thanks for the advice, but this is the way I like to do it. And we'll just see how this works out. I'm just going to try and hold this while I do this. Not real promising yet. Not promising at all. Well, all right. Let's see. All right, well, see, the fitting's not rounding at all. If I just do that for a little while and keep on hitting it with penetrating oil, this should break free without stripping. Okay, so that worked great. I tapped away at this. I probably had to hit it lightly with the hammer, maybe 50 times. It came loose. I was listening to that Styx song, Renegade. The song didn't even finish before I broke it free. The key is you don't want to hit it hard. Just tap away, and you can see there's no no damage at all to the fitting, and it's got fluid coming out of it. So now there's a number of different ways to bleed brakes. One of the better ways that I've seen online that I've never tried, Vaccuum Garage does this. He uses like a soda bottle, and he sticks a hose from here into a soda bottle and just keeps pumping the brakes and letting the fluid bleed right out into the bottle, and then any air comes out through the bottle, and then it sucks fluid back in when he lets off the brakes. I thought that was a pretty cool technique. I've never tried that. I use one of these self-bleeder devices where you literally just hook a hose up to it, and it just sucks the fluid right out. That works pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm sure that there's many other ways that folks bleed brakes. I used to do it the old-fashioned way where I would need a helper, and they would pump it up, and I would open this, and that works. Actually, I think that worked the best. But we don't always have helper accessible. Plus, good help is so hard to find these days, right? So here we go. We're going to go ahead and just crack this open, and we're going to fill up. We're not going to fill it, but we're going to start putting a vacuum on our bleeder using this system here, which the gauge is not calibrated, but it's pretty good. It bleeds down fast. Leaking someplace. There we go. I didn't have that lid tight. It still bleeds down pretty quick. Well, you know what? It's not perfect, but it works. Let's let the bleeding begin in a good way. There we go. That's opened. Everybody can see that. Put some vacuum on it. Still not the kind of fluid flow I'd like to see. I would expect to see a little bit more out of there. You can see what we have building up in here. Clean fluid, you know, coming right out of the master cylinder. I put fresh fluid in. Maybe we've got something else going on here, because we should be getting quite a bit of fluid out of there, and we're not getting much. Let me give it a little help. I'll go ahead and hit the brake pedal a few times. I'll show you what the master cylinder does when I hit it, when I hit the brakes. The forward reservoir on the cylinder seems to just blow fluid out of it, which, you know, I've never seen that before. Maybe that's kind of normal. It doesn't seem normal to me, though. See? Oh, that doesn't seem right. I'm going to go ahead and max them out. Put the lid on, fill the reservoirs, put the lid on, and then pump hard and see if I get some flow through there. I should have marked this level ahead of time, but hardly anything coming through. I think our hose is probably a little cluttered up here. Either that or maybe we're not flowing anything through there at all. All right, let's try this a different way. Let's take this completely off and let's pump them up quite a bit and see if we get some fluid coming out of here. Because there was fluid in here, fresh fluid, when I cracked this open. It went all over the place. You know, upon further review, I don't want to take that completely off. It's going to make a mess. Our fluid is at about 30. So, you know, I'll pump it and see if it goes higher than 30. You guys keep an eye on this operation. Oh yeah, we got some fluid coming out now. And it actually felt like something freed up. So either I popped a brake line, which is very possible, or there was some sort of obstruction in there that it cleared out. All right, there's another method for doing the no helper bleed. We'll let the bleed tube bleed the fluid into that cylinder, and then as I pump it, it should push and pull that fluid until all the air comes out. There, that looks pretty well bled to me. We've got fluid in the whole system, and I could actually feel a difference in the pedals. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that up, and we're going to assume this one's bled, ready to go. Drive this to California tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe the next day. Let's do the same thing over on our driver's side. And I'll also videotape this, so this way our viewer audience gets a good idea how little effort I'm actually putting into hammering on this thing. You know, you're not hammering for some sort of competition here. You're just trying to give it a nice, gentle hit. There it goes. Did you hear how it made a different noise on the hit? There, loosened right up. Oop, look at the air coming right out of there. Nice. All right, now we're gonna get our bleed system over here and bleed it down. And you guys will get to see the air come out. So the pedal felt like it stiffened up, and that looks to me like we have no air in the line, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it bled. Well, that was a neat way to bleed them. Thank you, Derek. Well, I'm saying thank you. I'm assuming it worked. Find out in a bit. I just started to link it up again to go ahead and check these brakes. This is cold, no choke. You can actually see my breath when I'm talking. So it's pretty chilly, but it's running great. Also of interest, no smoke out the back. That was crucial. Well, now it's starting to smoke a little bit, but nothing like it used to be. I think that's just condensation in the exhaust. It's a cold, rainy day, so we're getting a little bit of that kind of stuff. Let me see how these brakes feel now. Oh yeah, we got a real firm pedal. You guys want to see outside how it's running? Oh, this thing's running great. All right, I'm just gonna drive it around a little bit in the garage here. Oop, slipped out of gear. Huh. I think we might be a little low on trans fluid. I'm gonna check that when we get back in. I just want to get a little bit of heat in these calipers. Oh wow, yeah, incredible how good these brakes work. That's about it for episode 1A. All we did was bleed the brakes, top off transmission fluid, go for a quick spin around the yard. As you can see behind me, it is raining a little bit today, so it's not really ideal for playing around with cars. But I'm very happy. The technique we used to bleed the brakes, it's something I saw on Vice Grip Garage. It worked excellent. I hope somebody else, if they watch this video, they apply the same technique and have the same success that I had. Oh, by the way, for anyone that was curious, it was low, 2 quarts on transmission fluid. So I topped it off, and now it seems to be going in and out of gear just fine. Next up, we're gonna have to look at that heater core. I'm just gonna bypass it temporarily. And it looks like we're going to also get into, if I had to guess, pretty soon we're gonna get into a starter. It seems like when I first shut it off, it doesn't want to re-crank. You know, just sort of, it kind of diesels a little bit, so I'm not sure what's up with that. If the starter's just too weak to crank it over, or which I think it is, or if there's something else going on, like this fuel is just not quite good enough for this 10.5 to 1 compression, 1969 460. I don't know. I love driving this, by the way. So fun. All right, well, thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be doing some more episodes. We're going to get onto that Corvette FX3 suspension real quick. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and I should get a full episode to you then. I think I'm going to do another abbreviated episode tomorrow. I'm going to take out a whole bunch of the cars and take some pictures for the YouTube channel, and maybe mess around a little bit with the drone, flying over them. I want to arrange them and things like that. Either way, it should be cool video time because you get to hear all the cars run and you see them drive around the yard a little bit. So, we'll see you tomorrow.